Hey guys, and in this part of the X-Wing tutorial we're going to be beginning to texture and render our X-Wing. So by the end of part 3 you should have had your X-Wing model looking something like this. So there's still some details missing. We've done no modeling there at the rear, we haven't done the top part here. If you look in our reference image you can see that there's this engine area. We could do this with texturing. You could draw that in Photoshop and we could map it to our model. You could model this. I'll probably go ahead and model it actually later, but I'm not going to cover it in the tutorial because it's just done in exactly the same way that we've done all of the other parts here. Just draw it out and extrude the pieces. So what I want to focus on here is just beginning to set up our basic rendering and colors. And in the next tutorial we'll actually go on and UV unwrap this. But if you don't want to go as far as UV unwrapping, you just want to give it some color. That's what we're going to cover in this tutorial. So I'm going to switch from the Blender render to the Cycles render. I'm going to use the Cycles rendering engine for this, and we're going to start creating materials and colors and assigning them to our object. Now we're also going to have to add some lights to the scene and adjust our camera position. So we'll start off by doing the materials. So I'm going to use this as our reference. So we've got this red stripe down the side here. There's white and grey areas, blue around there, white here. So we want to create, first of all, I think, this whitish coloured texture. So let's tab into edit mode here. And I'm also going to need to draw in the shape of the area that's going to be the red stripe. So the red stripe is basically this. It comes straight down the middle there. So let's draw that in. So that's just basically going to be a loop cut that we will place around here, something like that. Okay, how far back does that red stripe go? That's about right, yes. Alright, so that's going to be our red area, and then the rest will be this white color. So let's go ahead, first of all I think, and we'll just give it all the white color. So in our toolbox over here on the right side, I'll jump over into material, and this is our default material here. And I think I'm just going to edit with that. So I'll click use nodes, diffuse color is correct, and then we want to choose our color. And that's going to be a slightly blue-gray, very slightly blue-gray I think. So I just want to move my color wheel just a little bit in that direction, slightly in the blue direction, very slight. We're going to add some color correction to the final thing anyway, so that will do us for now. And our viewport color will be the same. Just drag that up there a little bit. Okay. Might just be slightly on the yellow side actually. I think we need to go slightly to the yellow, not the blue. Just a smidgen. The yellow side. Okay. Alright, and we'll call this our body mat 001. So that's our body material. And that same color is used also on the main part of the wing, so we're going to apply that to there as well. So we will just come over here, select our wing part, and we'll add in a new material, and we'll select our body material there. So that basically assigns it to everything, and we'll do the same then with our winglets, body material, and we'll do the same with our engine, because everything is going to start off with the same base color. So that there is now our base color. So now I'm going to create the red which goes down the side here. So let's create that red area. So we'll select this, tab into edit mode. I'm going to select the faces that should be red, which will be this and this. And then we'll create a new material. Oops. new material, and this will be our red stripe. And we change our color here basically to the red color that we want. It's going to be a darkish red, so we also want to drag this down to make our red a little bit darker. Our viewport color will be the same. And then with those faces that we want selected, we just hit assign, and it will assign that red color to those faces there. So if we tab out of edit mode now, head over into rendered. I've got no lights in our scene, so it's going to be very flat right now. I think we have one light, the default light maybe is there, but so you can't really get the effect yet because we haven't lit the scene properly, but you can see there that we have the actual red stripe is now being displayed. So we also have these red areas on the wings, so let's go through and do those. So we'll select our wing, we'll tab into edit mode. So the red area is those stripes and the red square there. So what we will do is I'm going to go into face mode. I'm going to select these faces here, hit F to make those one face. Same also with these. Don't need those as separates. And here as well, F. And also on the tips. These are just remnants from our previous loop cuts, so this just helps us to tidy up our model a little bit. Yeah. Okay. So we've got a square area, so we'll get our loop cuts again here. And because we made it into a face, we can't use the loop cut. So we will select the two edges. We'll hit subdivide. Grab that edge. Oops. G. And move it in the local axis. Pushes that back out. Just get the knife. Do it using the knife tool. So we'll cut straight back here, and again and then we'll cut in the opposite direction. Be across there. Take a look at the shape that we got here, and that's okay. So we also then want to cut up or along here. It's a short distance and down, like so. Alright, so then we'll select this face here, and we'll add in a new material, which will be our red stripe, and assign. Grab the knife again. I'll just cut out some more faces here. There we go. Okay, and then we'll select this face alternatively, each one, select those and assign the red stripes to those there. Okay, so you can see how we basically go around our model and apply these colors. We'll just keep on looking at our reference image. So we've got a red stripe around here and the front of the engine area, so let's add that in. So we'll select our engine, we tab into edit mode, and get our loop cuts. Create a loop cut here. And then it's just a little bit fiddly now, we just have to select the faces. So this is basically how you can apply the colors from within Blender itself, and then actually we can go into the node editor and we can refine these materials a little bit, add reflections to them and whatnot. But if you want to really get a really nice finished result, the best thing for us to do will be to UV unwrap this, bring it into a paint program, paint it, and then wrap it back. So basically UV unwrapping is we take each one of these parts and we flatten it out into a flat image, and then once you've got the flat image you can then paint it. So it's like unfolding it in, if you imagine this is folded up out of paper and you're going to unfold it so it's flat, color it in, fold it back up again, and then glue it back onto the model, and that would give us our UV unwrap. So we've also got these are black at the back there, so let's add that in. So we want to create a new texture. New material, call it black steel. So this will just be basically a dark grey, very dark grey. Our viewport color, the same, dark grey. So select this, tab into edit mode, and we'll hit B to select everything at the back here, because all of this is going to be the black color. Z to go into, that helps us select them. Okay, we've got everything selected there now, and this will be our black steel. Assign, tab out of edit mode, and there we go, there's our black steel color applied to the rear of our engines there. So I'm sure you get the idea now. And then we've got this goldish yellow color that we'll add in the tips of those. Exactly the same thing. Select, tab into edit mode, select the parts that you want to be that color. So that's going to be this basically. We're going to be looking at this area here. So it's everything here. We want all of this. Probably the rear part of it as well. Okay, and new material. Call this golden yellow. So a viewport color. It's exactly the same. We're just going to go around basically and just replicate this on all of the parts that you want to be that color. I think we also want this here. golden yellow. Okay. Alright, so I'm sure you get the idea now for going in and doing our colors. I'm going to do one final part, which will just be the inside of the engine here. I'm going to do that also in the black color. The inside of the engine. Funny there. Okay. So B, help us select all these parts. In new, we'll select our black steel. We already have it there anyway. And assign it. Tab out of edit mode. Remove that. Okay. So now we're going to add some lights to the scene. So let's unhide our other layer there. You'll see here's our light. We're going to want a few more. But I'm going to change this to a sun. And we're going to rotate around so the sun is shining on our object. Let's go to our camera view. That's what our camera can see, so we'll select the camera. Just move this around a little bit until we get it into the position that we want. We want to make the lens a little bit wider so we can alter the focal length here. Make it a wider angle lens so we can fit everything in. Okay, I'm going to rotate it a little bit so we can see more from the front. There we go. Okay, zoom in. Now let's preview this. So go to rendered. You can see now with our lighting we're starting to get some shadow effects, etc. on there. Slightly yellow color to it. That's okay. That's because of the slightly yellow color that we gave to our thing, but we'll color correct it in the final render anyway. Just want to move this up a little bit. Back. Rotate it up slightly. Okay, go back to our camera view. Preview the render. Okay, and then once you're happy with everything, we'll come over to our rendering here, and I'm going to come down to our sampling and change the number of samples to, I'm going to make this around 250 samples. That should give us a nice smooth final image. And then once we're done with that, I will hit the render button and it will render out our image. That takes a few moments, just depending on the speed of your computer. Of course, we haven't done the colors and everything for our cockpit there or anything yet. And this is just a basic introduction here as to how we can begin adding the very basic colors to our model. So you can start to get an idea as to what it will look like when it's finally UV unwrapped and textured. So this is just very, very basic coloring and rendering tutorial that I'm covering here. I wouldn't, this is okay just for checking out your image before you get into the intricacies of UV unwrapping. But this is just okay, but it's not really a final finished render. It's more just a preview. So once you're happy with this, we can then move on to the next stage, which is going to be actually UV unwrapping this and beginning to apply the painted on textures.